welcome to the Thank You for Knitting YouTube podcast. My name is Zealana and I'm a knitwear designer and a yarn shop owner living in Auckland, New Zealand. So I am here in the back room, like the stock room, because I didn't get here early enough and the shop is currently open. So Vika is out front and I am hiding in the back. So apologies, it's not the most beautiful background. It's not as beautiful as the front of the shop, but yeah, I wanted to record. I didn't want to delay, so this is where I am. So today is episode 4 of the sort of standard podcast, which means I'm going to give updates on my projects. I've finished, I think, 5 or 6 things since the last video, which was a couple of weeks ago, so I have been very productive, which has been nice. And there's a couple of things I'm working on now, and there's a little bit of plans as well. And I want to share a knit along that we're also co-hosting here at the shop, along with some kits and things that we'll be selling to go along with that knit along. So that is the plan for today, and we'll start with my projects and specifically my finished ones. Before I get too ahead of myself, I should definitely say what I'm wearing. So yeah, here I am in Auckland, and honestly it feels like summer just hit like 3 or 4 days ago. We were kind of in, you know, the cool spring and I was still wearing sweaters, and then one day I woke up and basically was deciding what sweater to wear, walked outside and just thought, I think that's over. I think it's summer now. So it is definitely warm here, which means I have moved on to my summer knits. So that shirt that I'm wearing is, the pattern I believe is called Peacock tee. This is done in one of my all-time favorite summer yarns, which is Arienne Studio Linen. It's a yarn we carry at the shop. It has an absolutely beautiful color palette, but a big part of why I love this yarn is it's really unique as far as linen yarn goes. So if you're familiar with linen yarn, you would know that it kind of feels like straw. And once the garment itself is finished and washed and blocked and worn, it tends to soften up and behave really beautifully. But a lot of people find traditional linen yarns to be quite difficult to actually work with because your hands feel dry and it's just hard. It can be hard on people's hands. And the Arienne Studio Linen is super unique because it is 100% linen, but I think they basically say it's 85% recycled linen and 15% new linen. And so because it's mostly recycled linen, the linen has sort of already been softened, I guess. And the yarn itself is quite soft and silky and smooth and, in my opinion, very easy to knit with. It doesn't have that traditional straw-like feeling. It's a super lovely yarn. It's an 8-ply, and I do wish they had a 4-ply version of this yarn because I think it's the perfect linen, and I think it would be nice to be able to have lighter weight summer t-shirts as well, but I haven't found a yarn that's like this in a lighter weight, but that's okay. I mean, I've knit several, I think I've knit 4 or 5 different t-shirts in the studio linen. I used a 4mm and a 3.5mm needle, which I think are the recommended needle sizes. Oh, it looks like the recommended is a 4mm and a 3mm, so I think I just must have used a 3.5 instead of a 3 due to what was available. I often do that. If there's a different size at hand for like the ribbings and stuff, I just don't worry that much and I use what I have. So I'm assuming that's what happened. And I used 5 skeins of the Arienne Studio Linen, and the color is 416 Velvet, and it's from the shop here. So I can highly recommend this yarn as a summer yarn. As I said, I've knit 4 or 5 garments out of it and they've all been so lovely. Very wearable, it's drapey, you know, kind of slinky and very cooling. I don't find it even remotely warm. I mean, it has 0 wool content. It's just a plant fiber, and I find you can wear it in the absolute heat of summer, so super lovely. And the yarn itself kind of, once you knit it up, it kind of flattens out, so you end up with really nice, I think really nice stitch definition, really nice fabric. So yeah, that is my Peacock tee, and I absolutely love it. And oh, and I knit that, I started on November 10th, 2023, and I finished end of January 2024, so I guess I finished it this year. So last time I was showing you a very old whip from May of this year, and I showed you the first one, which was this Cloudburst mitt. I'll remind you what that looks like. And yeah, I knit the first one to be a sample for a wool festival that we did back in May, and I just didn't have a sense of urgency to knit the second one because there was no real reason to. This one's been hanging at the shop as a sample with its little sample tag. And yeah, this yarn is really the star of the show, which is the Zealana Air. And I did talk about it last time, but it is a 40% possum, 40% cashmere, 20% silk yarn. So it's incredibly luxurious and soft. I wish you could feel it, honestly, because it has this soft halo on it. It's just incredibly nice. And what I like about this project is that you can knit the whole pair with just one 25-gram ball of the Zealana Air, which I think is really good. If you were to knit a pair of these as a gift for someone, it would be an incredibly luxurious and beautiful gift, and relatively affordable because you only have to buy one 25-gram ball. So I think that's awesome. I said this last time, but it might be the softest yarn I've ever used because you have all the benefits of the cashmere and all the benefits of the possum. I mean, and the silk as well adds this sheen and loveliness to it. So since the last podcast episode, I have knit the other mitt so that I can cross it off my list of whips for the year. And honestly, you know, I waited months or whatever to knit it. This one is unblocked, by the way, so it doesn't look as nice yet, but yeah, I waited months to knit it for no real reason. And when I actually sat down to do it, it took, I don't know, a day or two. But now we have a completed pair, and now this one is blocked and this one's unblocked. So it doesn't look quite as nice, but at least you can see the pair. And yeah, incredibly soft. One of the great things about yarns with possum fur in them is they just get softer and softer with time, and they also wear well. So those are the mitts. They are finished, and just happy to have a pair. Yeah, I will weigh again. I don't think I have weighed the yarn that I had left over, but I'll do that so that when I'm editing this I can put in how many grams exactly I used for the pair. And this pair, I think I said last time that the first pair I made, I didn't do all of the repeats of the lace, but this pair I followed all the repeats of the lace to pattern. The only real change I made was going down in needle size. So I believe the pattern is written for a 3mm needle. This pair I did the same way as the last pair I did, where I used a 2.5mm for the ribbings and a 2.75 for the main mitt. It's a great pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's easy, I think. If you've never done lace before, I think you could do it. It's a very simple lace repeat. You can memorize it pretty quickly. And I think the result is just super stunning and very professional and lovely. So happy to be done with those. And that is project number 1. So I did that October 27th I finished, so a couple of weeks ago. And the next thing I finished, I also hinted at in the last video, which is that paler kind of rainbow yarn that Katrine dyed for me, Katrine from Yarnfloozy Yarns, who also works here in the shop. And I showed you last time my black and rainbow beanie, which I'll just briefly show you again. So this is a new hat pattern that I am writing, and I just wanted to really show off the incredibly beautiful color that she dyed. And I had asked her if she thought she could dye something similar, but in a pale version. So that we would basically have a black and rainbow and then like a pale earthy rainbow. So I loved the yarn so much that Katrine made that I couldn't help myself. I'll insert a photo, but I loved it so much that I think that same day that she left it here for me, I immediately wound one up and cast on another hat and finished it very quickly. I started on October 25th. I knit this in 2 days, and I think it's so cool. So that's how the yarn is kind of, it's sort of pooling in a way, but in a way that I think is really beautiful. And you just have this nice little knit and purl texture that shows off, that helps to kind of break up the color. So I could not be more pleased with that. So that is a pattern that will be coming soon. I don't know exactly when. And again, that's just one 50-gram ball of the Brushtail Possum Merino yarn from Katrine, Yarnfloozy Yarns. It's a pale rainbow. I don't think she's officially named it yet, but it might be called something like Pale Rainbow or Earthy Rainbow. And those are my little hats. So my next finished project is a pair of socks, and this was my final pair for Socktober. So I finished it on October 31st at the 11th hour. I'll put them on a sock blocker real quick. Now you've seen them before, I showed you last time, so we don't have to waffle on, but I had finished the first one before the last episode, and now I have finished both. So these are the Hermione's Everyday Socks. Well, technically this is my own vanilla recipe with a short row heel, but I've just included the stitch pattern from the Hermione's Everyday Sock, which I think is a really beautiful stitch pattern. Super simple and easy, but it breaks up the speckled and variegated colors in a really nice way. So this was the sock set that we got from Dye Studio 54 for Socktober here at the shop, and I thought it was so pretty. And yeah, I have finished both now. Sorry, this one's not on a blocker, but they look the same. Really happy with those, and that kind of concluded my Socktober. So in the month of October, I knit 9 individual socks. I completed 4 pairs, and then there were 2 socks that I knit half a sock each. So I'm calculating that as 9 individual socks. I guess 4.5 pairs. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Every year that Socktober comes around, it just motivates me to focus on socks like I normally don't. And I always get a lot more done during that month than I normally do when it comes to socks. So I was very pleased with the 4.5 pairs. I might insert a photo that I took of just the lineup of all the pairs I did. And yeah, all that remains is the 2 individual socks that I haven't completed, the blue opal one and the West Yorkshire Spinners stripey one. They each have 1 sock completed, and I'll finish the pair when I feel like it, in time to give them to my friends who, yeah, they're being knit as gifts for Christmas. So it was an awesome Socktober. Thank you to everyone for participating. We had so many people participating this year. I think every year there's more and more people. I can see by the posts on Instagram that the numbers grow and grow every year. And we picked our winners and we sent the prizes, and yeah, we loved seeing everyone's photos, and I enjoyed the workshop that I did, I did 2 workshops this month, and yeah, as always, we had a fantastic Socktober, so thank you to everyone who was a part of it. It was a good time. Okay, my next finished project is a big one, and this is my Mave sweater, which you've seen before. It's a design of mine which will be coming out very soon. I'm working on the final touches, but we finished the test knit, and this was my 3rd version that I've knit after reworking the grading a bunch. And this one is not quite dry yet because I was just blocking it yesterday, but I brought it in anyway to show you in the video. And yeah, true to form, I didn't finish until the very last day of the deadline that I gave to the test knitters. Even though I had heaps of time, I think I gave them more than 2 months for this test knit, and I still procrastinated my own sample until the very last day. But I got there in the end, and I finished, and it is really beautiful. As I say, it's a little damp still, so it might be sagging and hanging a little bit when I hold it up to show. But briefly, in terms of details, this is, as I said, Mave sweater finished testing. The yarn is Dyestock Yarns, who is a New Zealand indie dyer. It's her Merino DK, and it's just 100% superwash merino. The color I used for this sample is Spice Market, and I had 5 skeins. However, I did not use very much of the 5th skein. Again, I haven't weighed what's left yet, but I will, and I'll try to insert that and put that information on the Ravelry project page. But I used essentially a little more than 4 skeins total for my version, and this time I knit the size 2 of my pattern. In my previous samples, I knit the size 3. Technically, according to my recommended ease, could have knit the 3 or the 2 in terms of sizing, and I just wanted this one a little more on the fitted side. So let me show you. This is my Mave. Again, she's a little bit floppy and wet, but We have the beautiful detail at the neck with that cable pattern. I love this color. Double folded twisted rib collar, which I love. It's a little bit of like a half neck. And the detail at the end of the sleeve, which is just like a reverse mini version of the cable that I wrote for the neck. And I think it's so cute on the little sleeve. And then twisted rib at the cuffs as well. Relatively fitted sleeves and a slightly cropped, slightly boxy body shape. I am so pleased that I finished it. I'm actually looking really forward to wearing it. It is not the correct season anymore here. I mean, we're just coming into summer, but that's okay. I think releasing patterns like this time of year is quite good for the Northern Hemisphere anyway. So because I know that people buy my patterns from different places in the world, I do kind of feel that I can release any type of pattern anytime, and there will be a market for it, which is kind of nice because I've said this before, but I design when I can, running the shop and all the other stuff that's going on. I don't design as much as I want to, just as much as I can sort of manage capacity and time-wise. So, but this pattern has been a long time coming, since 2021. So I'm just really looking forward to the pattern finally getting out there. The test knitters have made really beautiful versions. So I'll keep you updated when the pattern is actually out, which should hopefully be soon. And in the meantime, that is another finished object that I am very happy with. Okay, my next finished object is a very big one. I have been knitting mostly on this lately because it has been a very large project. So I've showed it to you a few times. It started its life as the Geogradient Shawl by Stephen West, which was the MCAL from last year. But last year I started the MCAL. I didn't really have time. You know, we're always doing Socktober in October, and there's other stuff going on, so I didn't really have the time, but I wanted to do it anyway, so I sort of started, and then I think I just set it to one side for a while. And so the beginning of the Geogradient starts with like a concentric square type of design, and so you're building a square shape bigger and bigger and bigger. Then you go on to do a bunch of other beautiful things. I just didn't feel like it at the time. I don't know why. I just felt like continuing on with my square. It's been my super easy, simple project, and I have really enjoyed it. But recently I just got to the point where I think by the end, before I cast this thing off, I think I had somewhere between 700 and 800 stitches on the needle, and I just hit a point where I was done, and I was like, it's gonna be the size that it is because I need to cast this thing off. That being said, I've now blocked it and I am very happy with it, and I do think it's a good size for like a throw blanket. I used a 4.5mm needle, and the yarns that I used were all Union Fibre single spun, except one of them was applied merino, and miscellaneous green colors. And then I sort of matched that with mohairs that I thought matched the color tone, and they were a mix of Rowan Kidsilk Haze and Sesia Vivienne, which are two of the main mohairs that we carry in the shop here. I started with just the green colors, then I added in some browns and a little bit of a mauvey neutral color, and a pickle green kind of color as well, also from Union Fibre. Yeah, the way that I knit this was I just knit whatever I want. I kind of just made it up as I went. The basic idea was that you're just getting bigger and bigger and you're increasing in 4 corners to make a square. And so I did a little bit of ribbing, some rows that were just mohair. Sometimes I was marling and fading, and yeah, I had a grand old time. So anyways, let me show you. So this is it. It's quite big, so it'll be a little hard to show. I guess that's one quadrant. That's it folded in half. That's it all the way. So I think the last time I showed it, it was probably up in this brownish section. Then I tried to bind off after this stripe, but it just wasn't quite big enough. So then I came back and added, this is a bunch of mohair and merino held together and just faded. And I really, really like how that looks on the border. Just like a faded sort of edge. And then I think I just did 1 row of the pickle green. No, not even a row. I just used it to bind off. I just wanted a really thin little edge. but I don't know how well any of this is showing up on camera. All I can say is that I will try to take some nice photos and insert them. But I do think it's a good size as a throw blanket on your lap, because I'm putting it on now, and oh, it's perfect. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy with that. I'm also just really happy that it's done because that was a long-term project. I started October of last year. It took about a year, and I'm actually really, really pleased with it. It's really soft and lovely. So yay, that's a big one, and I'm really glad it's done. Okay, my final finished project is also an important and very cute one. So this was my Myrtle Bear by Cinthia Vallet, which I was knitting. I started this September 9th, apparently. And I just finished November 8th, so 2 months. Again, I sort of started it and then it sat there for a while, but I'm in the mood right now of finishing a lot of things. So I just finished, and I've just stuffed it last night and sewed up so it's completely done. So this is my Myrtle Bear. So cute. And I just stuffed it with some 100% pure wool roving that I got years ago in a big bag from Spotlight. I think I bought a 1 kg bag of this from Spotlight. I don't know if Spotlight sells it anymore because I went back a couple years later and they only had the polyfill, but I really like to use just pure wool, and I think I bought like a kg bag of it, and I've still just been using that every time I have an animal to stuff. So I err on the side of overstuffing rather than understuffing because I feel like they tend to compress a bit over time, and I don't want the animals to get, you know, flimsy and floppy. So he's looking a little chunky, but I think I would rather have him be a little extra chunky than too floppy. Plus you want a well-fed bear. You know, a well-fed bear is a happy bear. We don't want a hungry bear. So yes, this I knit in the Zealana Rimu fingering weight 4-ply, and that is the Merino Possum blend. The color I used is flax, and I originally thought, based on the calculation of the pattern, I thought I would need 3 balls or somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 balls, but in the end I actually got all the way down, halfway down one leg, the entire body, and halfway down one leg with just 1 ball. So I only used a little bit of the 2nd ball, and I didn't touch the 3rd ball. So that might be worth bearing in mind if you're going to make this. It really doesn't take that much yarn, and Myrtle Bear is the biggest bear. I knit this for my niece Zoe, and she's going to be turning 2 soon, and I am definitely planning to make some really cute outfits for the bear. I'm not sure if I'll follow the patterns or if I'll make them up as I go. I'm considering just doing a custom fit pair of dungarees because I think that would be really cute. So I'm happy I finally finished the bear, and looking forward to making him little outfits and then giving him to my niece. So that is a very cute finished object. Oh, and I used the recommended needle size, which is 2mm. So that is my final finished object, and I think it also brings me kind of nicely into a plan and a knit along. So here at the shop we were planning, I think I've mentioned before, I've knit quite a few of Cinthia Vallet's toy designs. Her design label is called From Cinthia, and she is also the one who wrote the book Moosh and Friends, if you're familiar with that. Her patterns are written, you know, line by line, perfect detail. I've never once found a mistake in them, and if you just follow line by line, it's easy. She makes it easy. She gives so many tips and tricks on how to do the facial features, the eyes, and just she gives details for if you want to knit these on DPNs or magic loop. You kind of have separate little instructions, and I just love her patterns. I've never ever had, you know, an issue with any of them, so I've knit quite a few. And her most recent pattern is the Nibbles, which is a little group of 4 tiny bunnies. So I've knit the big bunny O'Deal, before, and now there's these 4 tiny bunnies. And a lot of the people here at the shop, we were hoping to knit some of her little toys anyway. Some people were wanting to knit the bears, and I was thinking we should run another toy knit along, which we've done in the past. And so we were kind of planning to do a little Bunny and Friends type knit along. And then Cinthia actually reached out to me and she said, we're hosting a Nibbles Knitalong and we're gonna try to collaborate with a few different people, and she just asked if we would like to collaborate with her. And I thought, you know, we were planning to do it anyway, and so I was thrilled that she emailed, and I said, absolutely, we'll put some kits together, we'll participate, you know, everyone's excited. And I asked her if we could also include some of the other animals, because I know not everyone wants to make the little bunnies. And so she said we could include all of the smaller animals. So that includes Sotober Bear. I don't remember now off the top of my head, but there's a few mini ones. I think there's a small duck and a small mole, maybe. And we're also going to include Bunny Odile because she is like the auntie of the little bunnies, so she's in the family, you know. So the knit-along actually starts, for us in New Zealand, it'll be Wednesday, so 2 days from now. She's based in France, and so I think for her it's technically tomorrow. So this video might not come out before the knit-along, but it will come out probably on the first or second day of the knit-along. And the knit-along is going to go through the end of the year, through the end of December. So we have plenty of time, and Cinthia is going to be primarily hosting the knit-along. I think she has a Substack forum. I will insert a link to that somewhere. And we will also be participating along on Instagram like we normally do with our knit-alongs. And I'm sure that a lot of the Knit Night crew are going to be knitting together in person as well. And yeah, the plan is to knit the little Nibbles bunnies, and the most fun part will be to knit the little outfits along with them. So I'll insert some photos, but oh my gosh, the little outfits that Cinthia made for these bunnies are beyond cute. There's a little mohair tutu dress, and yeah, oh my gosh, so many cute little outfits. So we're starting that knit along. It's primarily run by Cinthia, as I say, but we are collaborating with her, and we have also put together some kits for it. So those are very exciting and they're very cute. I have a couple of them with me here actually, so I'll grab a couple to show you. I'll just show you all of them. We had so much fun putting them together. Okay, so I just realized that I was using cinematic mode for the first time ever, and I think it's a little bit more difficult for the camera to focus when I hold things up in cinematic mode. So when I was holding up the yarn bundles that we made for the knit-along, some of them were looking a bit blurry and it wasn't focusing in the right way. So I thought I would show you those again. We'll just go through them kind of quickly, and hopefully this will work better. So there's two types of kits. There's the ones with the bunny yarn and the ones with just the minis for the outfits. So there's 4 kits that include bunny yarn. And the first one, this one's called Ole's Popping Pink. So the bunny yarn is this Ashley Merino cream color. And then the minis, we started with this fun pink. And then we've got the soft blue mohair, some other blues, the little pop of yellow. So that is the first one. And we have intentionally done a mix of different fibers. So we have cotton, different merinos and wools, that's a sock blend, and every kit has a mohair. So that's the first one. The second one we named Elton's French Wardrobe because we put this one together thinking we just could picture like a little French bunny. The bunny is this darker brown color. It's a Sesia Mistral, 100% merino. And the little minis we thought were quite French, the blues and the reds and the cream. And again, we've got the nice mohair. I imagined like a blue and white striped jumper and a red beret. It'd be so cute. So that is the second kit. The third one is named Coco's Jewel Tones, and the main yarn is the Brushtail 4-ply, so that's a possum merino blend. So that would be similar to my bear in the natural light color. And then we have these lovely muted sort of jewel tones for the people who love that, with the teal and the green and the purple, the mohair. And that is kit number 3. And kit number 4 is my personal favorite, where the bunny yarn is this beige color, 100% New Zealand merino, Baby Haven. And the minis, this one's called Olga Nature Lover, are more warm autumnal kind of earthy tones. And with a fun little pop here. Again, we have cotton and wool mixes, we've got merinos, we've got mohair. Yeah, so that's kit number 4. And we were having so much fun putting the kits together that we put a few together that, yeah, we thought could just be for the little clothing outfits. And again, we've intentionally done quite a mix of different fibers. And so this one is called Into the Woods. And we've got silk, merino, Surrey alpaca, silk merino hand dyed. We've got a blend of different yarns together. That one is so cute. We have Kingfisher, and this one has some possum mix, Kingfisher blue mohair, merino, there's cotton, nice little blend. And the last one is called Field of Poppies. So we've got fun bright greens and reds, a pale pink, that's a sock yarn with a tweed, Surrey alpaca, merino, and yeah, that's the last one. So we had a lot of fun putting these together. We basically wound off little 10-gram minis. So we have 10 grams for all of the normal minis, and then the mohairs and Surreys are just 5 grams each. If these sell too quickly, we're happy to make more. Some of these colors we can't do anymore, but we can do different color mixes. Yeah, we had a lot of fun putting them together and just imagining all the little outfits that can be made out of them. So this knit-along is also a perfect time to use scrap yarn. So you absolutely do not have to get the kits. You don't have to buy new yarn. You need, I think it's 13 grams of yarn per bunny. So if you have 13 grams of any kind of 4-ply that's in the right kind of fiber blend and the right color that you like, you can make the bunny out of that. And you only need about 10 grams of 4-ply for each of the outfit colors. And you can also kind of get creative with the outfits, I think, and use different mixes of yarns together. So it is a good opportunity to use scrap yarn if you have that at home as well. We're looking forward to making the bunnies, making the cute outfits. We'll try to, help along the way. Otherwise, yeah, that's all the kits. And I'll try to put all the information for the knit-along in the description box. And it's just for fun of knitting the toys, knitting the clothes. In my opinion, if you've never knit anything like this before, you can absolutely do it. Because like I said, Cinthia really gives such clear instructions. I really think you can do it. They're not difficult to do. They're shaped in one piece. So you usually start with the nose, and then you do a lot of increasing and short rows and different things to shape them. But they're done all in one piece. And I think the only thing that might be a challenge for some people is getting used to either the magic loop or the DPNs for small circumference knitting. But if you've knit things on magic loop and DPNs before, like socks, then you can absolutely make these. So feel free to join along in the knit along if you are keen. Okay, that is it that's all my finished objects. That's our plan for the knit along. As far as what I'm working on now, I don't have anything new to show for whips, because if you saw my first episode, you knew that I had 17 whips back then, so I'm actually trying to reduce the number of whips. I think currently I have 10 whips technically, so I'm still trying to chip away on those. I keep knitting new things as well. Like I've cast on new socks since then. I will cast on the bunny. That hat was new. But I'm also simultaneously trying to finish some of the older things. One of the things I've been working on that I think I might finish soon, there's not much to show, but I'll just quickly show because it may be a finished object next time, is my Tussa Tweed Pure Silk t-shirt. So this is the Noose Light by Elspeth Judith. I've picked it back up again because it got warm all of a sudden, and I'm just going to finish each sleeve, possibly add some ribs at the neckline to bring it in a little bit, and then finish with the body. So I've picked that back up, and I'm going to be working on that more actively now. And the other one that I've picked back up is my hand spun sweater. So I'm very excited about this one. Again, it's not at all the right season, but I do want to finish it just because, I don't know. And I've gotten kind of motivated by it. I'm a little nervous that I might run out of yarn, to be honest, but I have some similar fiber that I can spin more if I need to and blend it in. So I've just picked up the sleeve and I'm gonna work away on those. I'm gonna knit the sleeves first and then finish with the body. That way I can make the body as long as I can before I run out of yarn. And like I said, if it's too short, I will just try to spin more yarn that looks similar. So those are kind of the two things I'm actively working on. And then obviously I'm about to be getting into the Nibbles Knitalong and the bunny and the clothes. And yeah, that's all I've got going on right now. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. As I said, I'm gonna try to come approximately every 2 weeks with a standard podcast video. And yeah, get in touch with me. You know, I have tried to keep up with responding to all the comments. So if you have any questions or anything you wanna ask, definitely feel free to ask and I will try to address it. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you soon. Bye.